Ever feel like life is just happening to you? Like you're on autopilot, just going through the motions? I know I did. I was stuck in a rut, overwhelmed by work. My anxiety was through the roof, and I felt like I was losing control. My mind was constantly racing, and I lacked any real self-awareness. But then I stumbled upon Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that's all about practical wisdom and living a good life. It promised to help cultivate an iron mind, one that could withstand life's challenges and remain calm in the face of adversity. I was skeptical at first, but I decided to give it a try. I picked 8 Stoic habits and committed to practicing them for just 1 week. And let me tell you, it was a game changer. In just 7 days, I felt calmer, more focused, and more in control of my life. I started to understand my emotions better, to see the root of my anxieties, and to develop the tools to manage them. Of course, it wasn't always easy. Some of these habits, like waking up at the crack of dawn, were a real struggle at first. But I stuck with it, and the results were incredible. So, what were these life-changing habits that helped me forge an iron mind and gain self-awareness? Well, the first one is all about starting your day with intention. The first habit that set me on this path to an iron mind and greater self-awareness was simply waking up early. Now, I'm not talking about becoming some kind of superhuman morning person. Trust me, I used to hit the snooze button more times than I'd like to admit. But I decided to experiment with waking up before the rest of the world, and it was a revelation. Instead of being jolted awake by an alarm and immediately bombarded by emails and notifications, I had this precious pocket of quiet time all to myself. It was like a secret weapon against the chaos of the day. I used this time to meditate, specifically the Stoic practice of memento mori. Now, before you roll your eyes at the Latin, let me break it down for you. It simply means, remember that you will die. Sounds morbid, right? But it's not about dwelling on death. It's about using the awareness of our mortality to ignite a fire within us. Every morning, I'd sit in silence and contemplate my own impermanence. I'd ask myself, if today were my last, would I be spending it this way? This simple question became a powerful filter for my decisions. Suddenly, those petty annoyances that used to consume me seemed trivial. I started to prioritize the things that truly mattered, spending time with loved ones, pursuing my passions, and making a positive impact on the world. By remembering my mortality, I started living more intentionally. But it wasn't just about big life changes. Waking up early and practicing memento mori also gave me a sense of calm and clarity that carried me through the day. I felt less reactive to stress, more focused on my goals, and more appreciative of the present moment. It was like my mind had finally found its anchor. I'm not saying you need to become a morning person to live a good life, but if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or disconnected, I urge you to experiment with waking up a little earlier and dedicating that time to yourself. Trust me, it could be the key to unlocking a whole new level of self-awareness and inner peace. The second habit that completely transformed my life was something I never thought I'd say I enjoy: exercise. Now, I'm not talking about becoming a gym rat or training for a marathon. It was more about embracing the Stoic concept of voluntary discomfort. You see, the Stoics believed that by willingly putting ourselves through challenges, we build resilience and mental fortitude. And let me tell you, they were onto something. I started small, just a short walk each day. But as I got used to it, I gradually increased the intensity, adding in some light jogging, then some bodyweight exercises. The physical benefits were undeniable. I had more energy, my mood improved, and I even started sleeping better. But the mental benefits were even more profound. As I pushed myself physically, I noticed a ripple effect in other areas of my life. I felt more capable of handling stress, more confident in my abilities, and more willing to step outside of my comfort zone. The key was finding activities I actually enjoyed. For me, it was a mix of running, yoga, and hiking. I discovered that moving my body wasn't just about burning calories or building muscle. It was about connecting with myself, challenging my limits, and ultimately, becoming a stronger version of myself. And that's the beauty of voluntary discomfort. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about choosing to embrace challenges that ultimately lead to growth and transformation. If you're looking to strengthen your mind and body, I encourage you to find a form of exercise that you genuinely enjoy. Start small, be consistent, and don't be afraid to push yourself. The rewards are far greater than you might imagine. After conquering my mornings, it was time to tackle my evenings, which often felt like a chaotic jumble of thoughts and to-do lists swirling around in my head. That's where the third habit came in: journaling. Now, I'll admit, I was hesitant at first. I mean, who has time for journaling, right? And what do you even write about? Dear Diary? It all seemed a bit cheesy, but the Stoics swore by it, so I decided to give it a try. The first few entries were a bit awkward. I stared at the blank page, wondering what profound thoughts I was supposed to share with the universe. But then I remembered the Stoic principle of focusing on what's within our control. So, I started simply by writing down the events of my day, the emotions I felt, and the thoughts that were swirling around in my head. And that's when the magic happened. As I wrote, I started to notice patterns. I could see how certain situations triggered specific reactions, how my thoughts influenced my emotions, and how my actions impacted my overall well-being. It was like shining a light into the darkest corners of my mind. But journaling wasn't just about self-reflection. It was also about taking action. The Stoics believed in constantly asking ourselves, what is within my control? So, at the end of each entry, I'd write down 3 things I could do the next day to improve my life, even if it was just a small step. Here's the journaling prompt that I found to be the most powerful. What 3 things am I grateful for today? This simple question shifted my focus from what I lacked to what I had. It reminded me of the abundance in my life, and it always left me feeling more content and appreciative. Journaling became my evening ritual, a way to unwind, process my day, and set intentions for the future. It was like a mental declutter, a way to empty out all the noise and chaos so I could go to bed with a clear head and a peaceful heart. If you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or just plain lost, I encourage you to give journaling a try. Don't worry about being perfect or profound, just start writing. You might be surprised at what you discover about yourself along the way. Okay, let's talk about the 4th habit, the one that might resonate with you the most in this digital age. Mindful technology use. I'll be the first to admit, I was addicted to my phone, constantly checking emails, scrolling through social media, refreshing news feeds. It was a never-ending cycle that left me feeling drained and disconnected. But the Stoics had a radical idea. Control your attention. Don't let it be controlled. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized that my phone wasn't just a tool. It was a weapon of mass distraction. It was hijacking my focus, robbing me of precious time, and keeping me from being fully present in my life. So, I decided to take back control. I started by turning off notifications, those little red bubbles that constantly beckoned me to check my phone. Then, I set designated times for checking emails and social media, instead of mindlessly scrolling whenever I had a free moment. At first, it was tough. I felt like I was missing out on something important. But as the days passed, I started to notice a shift. I felt less stressed, more focused, and more productive. I had more time for the things that truly mattered, like reading, spending time with loved ones, and simply being present in the moment. My phone became a tool again, not a tyrant. I used it when I needed it, not when it demanded my attention. And you know what? I didn't miss out on anything important. In fact, I gained so much more. If you're feeling overwhelmed by technology, I encourage you to experiment with mindful technology use. Start by turning off notifications, setting boundaries, and using apps that track your screen time or block distracting websites. Remember, you are in control of your attention, not your phone. By reclaiming your focus, you'll open yourself up to a world of possibilities, both online and offline. As I journeyed further into Stoicism, I discovered a surprisingly simple yet profound habit: mindful eating. Now, I'm not talking about any fad diets or restrictive eating plans. It was more about shifting my mindset around food. You see, I used to treat meals like a pit stop, scarfing down my food while working, watching TV, or scrolling through my phone. But the Stoics taught me to appreciate the simple pleasures in life, and food was no exception. So, I started practicing mindful eating. I put my phone away, turned off the TV, and sat down at the table with nothing but my food and my thoughts. At first, it felt awkward. I was so used to multitasking during meals that simply sitting there and eating felt like a waste of time. But then I started to notice the subtle flavors and textures of my food that I had never paid attention to before. The sweetness of a ripe strawberry, the crunch of a freshly baked baguette, the warmth of a comforting bowl of soup. It was like discovering food for the first time. I started to savor each bite, chewing slowly and paying attention to the sensations in my mouth. I noticed when I was full, instead of mindlessly eating until my plate was empty. And as I did this, my relationship with food started to change. I no longer saw food as simply fuel or something to be consumed quickly. I saw it as nourishment, as a source of pleasure, as a gift to be enjoyed. This shift in perspective had a ripple effect on my overall well-being. I felt more satisfied after meals, less prone to overeating, and more in tune with my body's hunger cues. And because I was no longer using food to distract myself from emotions or stress, I felt more grounded and centered. If you're looking to improve your relationship with food and overall well-being, I encourage you to try mindful eating. Start by putting your phone away during meals, turning off distractions, and simply focusing on the sensory experience of eating. It may feel awkward at first, but trust me, it's worth it. As I continued to weave Stoic practices into my daily routine, I realized that one essential element was missing: quality sleep. Now, I'd always been a bit of a night owl, burning the midnight oil and sacrificing sleep for work or late-night Netflix binges. But the Stoics emphasized the importance of rest and rejuvenation for both the mind and body. So, I embarked on a quest for better sleep. It wasn't just about getting more hours. It was about creating a peaceful and restorative sleep environment. I started by establishing a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even on weekends. I also made some changes to my bedroom, turning it into a sanctuary for sleep. I invested in blackout curtains to block out any stray light, kept the temperature cool, and banished all electronics from the room. But the biggest change came in the hour before bed. Instead of scrolling through my phone or working on my laptop, I created a wind-down routine. I'd read a book, take a warm bath, or practice some gentle stretches. I even started using a meditation app to guide me into a state of relaxation. The results were astounding. I fell asleep faster, slept more soundly, and woke up feeling refreshed and energized. My mind was clearer, my mood was brighter, and I felt more capable of handling whatever the day threw at me. Quality sleep wasn't just a luxury, it was a necessity for living a fulfilling and productive life. By prioritizing sleep, I was investing in my overall well-being and giving myself the best chance to thrive. If you're struggling with sleep, I encourage you to take a closer look at your habits and environment. Make small changes, experiment with different routines, and prioritize rest as a non-negotiable part of your self-care. Trust me, your mind and body will thank you. While the previous habits are fundamental, let me share a lesser-known Stoic practice that truly became a game-changer for me: cultivating amor fati. Now, this one might sound a bit esoteric, but bear with me, because it's incredibly powerful. Amor fati, which translates to love of fate, is the Stoic art of embracing everything that happens in life, both good and bad. It's about accepting that we can't control everything, but we can control our response to it. I used to resist challenges, get frustrated by setbacks, and dwell on things that didn't go my way. But amor fati taught me to see every experience as an opportunity for growth and learning. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" I started asking, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can I use this to become stronger?" This simple shift in perspective transformed my relationship with adversity. I started to see obstacles as stepping stones, setbacks as opportunities for growth, and failures as valuable lessons. I embraced the ups and downs of life with a newfound sense of acceptance and resilience. Now, I'm not saying that practicing amor fati means you have to be happy about every single thing that happens. It's okay to feel sad, angry, or frustrated. But instead of getting stuck in those emotions, amor fati allows you to move through them, to learn from them, and to ultimately find meaning in them. It's like turning lemons into lemonade, only on a much deeper level. By embracing the challenges and setbacks of life, you transform them from burdens into opportunities. You become an active participant in your own story, rather than a passive victim of circumstance. Cultivating amor fati isn't always easy. It requires a shift in mindset, a willingness to let go of control, and a deep trust in the unfolding of life. But the rewards are immeasurable. By embracing amor fati, you liberate yourself from the chains of resistance and open yourself up to a life of greater peace, acceptance, and fulfillment. You become the master of your own fate, the architect of your own happiness. As I rounded out my week of Stoic experiments, I found myself drawn to a habit that, while seemingly simple, held immense power: gratitude. It might sound cliché, but hear me out. Gratitude wasn't just about saying thank you for the good things in life. It was about actively cultivating a mindset of appreciation. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes not from external circumstances, but from our internal state of mind. And gratitude, they argued, was the key to unlocking that inner peace and contentment. So, I started incorporating gratitude into my daily life. Each evening, I'd take a few moments to reflect on the things I was thankful for. It could be anything from a delicious meal to a supportive friend, a beautiful sunset to a moment of laughter. At first, it felt a bit forced. I mean, I wasn't exactly overflowing with gratitude when I was stuck in traffic or dealing with a difficult client. But as I persisted, something shifted. I started to notice the small joys that I had previously overlooked. The warmth of the sun on my face, the sound of birds chirping outside my window, the simple act of breathing. These things that I had taken for granted suddenly filled me with a sense of wonder and appreciation. Gratitude became my anchor, a way to ground myself in the present moment and find joy in the everyday. It wasn't about ignoring the challenges of life, but rather about choosing to focus on the good, even when things were tough. And that's the power of gratitude. It's not just a fleeting emotion, it's a way of life. It's a choice to see the world through a lens of abundance, to appreciate what we have, and to find joy in the simple things. As I look back on my week of Stoic experiments, I can honestly say that gratitude was the habit that had the most lasting impact. It taught me to find beauty in the ordinary, to appreciate the present moment, and to cultivate a deep sense of contentment. If you're looking to add more joy and meaning to your life, I encourage you to start a gratitude practice. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just take a few minutes each day to reflect on the things you're thankful for. Write them down, share them with someone, or simply say them aloud. The more you practice gratitude, the more you'll start to see the world through a different lens. You'll find that even in the midst of challenges, there is always something to be grateful for. And that, my friends, is a truly life-changing realization. And hey, if you're feeling even a little bit grateful for these Stoic insights, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. Who knows? Tonight I might just add your support to my gratitude list. It's a win-win, right? You get more life-changing wisdom, and I get to feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Alright, so we've covered mindful technology use, but if you're ready to take it to the next level and truly declutter your digital life, make sure you check out my next video where I dive deep into the Stoic art of a social media detox. Trust me, it's not as scary as it sounds, and the benefits are incredible.